I actually think you're a smart guy. I actually think you know your stuff. You're just so fixated that Israel's the problem. The problem in the Middle East, like I said, follow the money. The countries that are succeeding, the Qataris, even the Saudis these days, they're coming into the modern world. They're leaving the 6th century mentality behind and say, let's get into the 21st century, where they need to succeed. In whether it's Gaza or whether it's Lebanon or whether it's Syria and whether Afghanistan, they need to focus on GDP, not GDT. Gross domestic product, not gross domestic terrorism. And the problem is they're obsessed. Put the guns down. Put the Quran down. Actually start living by the words that the Quran says, not some false equivalent of what they think is actually going on there. You talk about the genocide in Israel or in Gaza as if it's just a matter of fact. Well, let me show some stats for you, because after you see these stats, Israel's the worst genociders ever. The numbers, according to the world data, if you trust data, between 1990 and 2022, the Palestinian population overall went from 2 million to 5 million, okay? Pretty bad at genocide if that's what's happening right there. In Gaza, it went from 645,000 to 2.1 million. It's 3x. That ain't genocide to me. Now, do 20,000 people, 30,000 people needlessly killed during this bullshit war that was started by Hamas? Is that horrible? 1,000,000%. And any Jew or any Israeli...
Give me that number again. 600,000 to what?
645,000 to 2.1 million.
From what to, from when to where?
This is in 1990 to 2022.
Do you know why they increased?
Because they're having babies like crazy.
No. You see, this is how like when you watch data while being uninformed makes you look very stupid.
Tell me why. Tell me how the population has gone from 2 million to 5 million.
Yeah, because most of the 1.5 extra million didn't come from Gaza. They were pushed away from other parts of Israel. So most of these people, they have increased because of refugees being kicked out.
If you're talking about the settlers, those are tens of thousands.
I'm talking about
those
Gaza.
Aren't millions of people.
Dude, listen. My wife's family is not from Gaza, and yet they found themselves in Gaza because they were sitting in other cities and villages outside Gaza. This is the systemic pushing of people from other parts of Israel, pushing them to Gaza.
That's not millions of people. This is why I said that you're intellectually dishonest or intellectually lazy.
No,
that's not the cause of millions of people being moved. I'm familiar with the settler stuff and the disengagement in 2006.
You don't know what you're talking about. These are people that
millions
were outside.
Of people.
What?
Okay.
The people who belong to Gaza are 700,000 people. Right now, Gaza is 2.2 million. That is not birth rate, my friend. These are people pushed from, and by the way, that's not the first time. 1948, at the night of the declaration of the State of Israel, 1.5 million Palestinians were moved overnight. So it's not the first thing. So before you giving me numbers you want to appear smart, know what are behind the numbers, because these are not people giving babies.
Okay.
These are people being pushed from other places in order to be part of the open air prison that it is.
Okay, so then
it's not delivered.
If you want to fact check me, let me fact check you. Anytime that there's numbers increasing, Basif, going from 650, 450, whatever you want to call it, to 2 million, however it happens, that's the exact opposite of a genocide. So the whole genocide, the whole open air prison are talking points. Are talking points of BS.
No,
and this is why I said you're either intellectually lazy or you just hate Israel.
Basically, this whole thing about you hate Israel and hate Islam, this is a very lazy way to talk to people.
It's kind of like your thing.
What did I tell you that is so lazy? What did I tell you, like you're fucking racist?
Because you've already said that multiple times.
No, I didn't say.
Yeah, you said that multiple times.
I said your undertone is racist. No, that's not what.
So not me, but what's going on inside of me.
And some like the way that you analyze numbers is very lazy, because again,
really, when I actually use stats and data from the most credible sources, that's lazy.
These are numbers that were outside of Gaza.
You've said no stats. You've given fucking opinions the whole time.
It's like saying that California has increased triple, or this has people in Texas increased because of birth rate. No, they increased because people from California started moving voluntarily. You have pushed 1.5 million people outside of Gaza, inside of Gaza in a matter of 12 years, and that's why the number has inflated. It's not because they were giving birth rate.
So then where's the genocide?
They were evacuated.
Where's this alleged genocide happening?
That's happening right now under your eyes.
So as of 3 months ago, there was no genocide. So it's just a new.
Well, we didn't actually use the word genocide before 3 months ago.
Okay, but you've been calling for the river for the sea.
We didn't use it
for decades.
Well, also Israel have a lot of maps that is putting in the greater Israel from the Nile and the Euphrates. That's genocide for 5 countries there. And this is not by people in the street or people on YouTube. These are ministers. These are officials in the official government of Netanyahu. If you have someone, an Arab president, like the Egyptian president or the Jordanian king, tell you from the river and the sea, it's like, oh, it's the Arab authorities. You are basically complaining people on Facebook and the official viewpoint of the Israeli government. You're basically comparing apples to oranges. It doesn't make any sense. You're basically comparing activists with people with power, with money, and with weapons. So I don't know how come you're comparing
So
them.
what's your solution? Because you got all these answers and we have no solutions. What's your solution?
Justice. Stop killing people and give them back their land. That's it.
Okay.
And giving them back the land, it's going to be a much more complicated thing.
Who's going to lead your negotiations? Mahmoud Abbas, 88 years old?
I have no idea, man.
No,
I have no idea.
That's the point, is you don't have an idea.
Well, when I say I have no idea, I'm being humble because there's a million people who can do it, but like I'm not a politician, I'm a comedian. I come here to tell some of my opinions, but the thing is you want to put me, and you use that and you give me, I'm sorry to say, butchered political information and numbers that doesn't say anything.
Stats are really butchered in political.
Yeah.
But it's interesting how you have all the solutions for Israel, but you have no solutions for Gaza or Hamas. Very interesting. Very interesting how you can critique everything that's going on in Israel. Yes, they do have some things they need to rectify. Just like the United States, just like any democracy. You've got all the answers there, boss. When I said, what do they do over here in Gaza? What do they do? I have no idea. I'm just a comedian. Don't listen to me. So which one is it? You either know your shit or you're actually just...
So what was your question? What's the solution for
what's
Israel?
the solution
I said Israel
for
take
Gaza?
back the land. For Gaza, how about you stop the killing and then we can talk?
Okay, so let's say we do that.
Okay.
So here's what I believe. I think we need to demilitarize Gaza. We need to de-radicalize because they're the leading.
How are you going to deregulate? How do you do that?
Maybe let's stop.
So how about
stop summer schools where they teach about jihad and they start playing football and soccer.
How about the religious schools in Israel that actually tell people that we should kill all Arabs? And these videos are
you know all those Jews that are running around bombing everywhere around the world? No, it doesn't fucking exist.
Oh,
it's
really?
only in Islam.
Oh, really? But what about the Jews killing the Palestinians inside?
I'm talking about around the world. If I said there was
we're bad people. We're bad people. Take us out.
That's not what I'm saying.
No, we're very hot.
Okay, what I'm saying is they need to.
Religion. We are a terrorist religion. Take it out.
You said it. Your
Let's
words.
do it.
You
Yeah.
said it.
Let's
Your
do
words.
It. Yeah.
Your words.
Let's do it. I mean, like
your words.
This is like you have a really interesting outlook for people who look like me. You look at me and I'm Muslim, and you have all of these assumptions about me being a terrorist, while Islam is not a terrorist.
You said the words, Bassem. I didn't say those words.
You know what's the difference between Islam and terrorists? They go on like some rogue groups and they kill and they do shitty stuff. But you have like a whole country with a whole military arsenal who is committing terrorism every single day, backed up by the US.
There it is. There's your Israel talking.
Yeah. I'm going to talk it. That's my opinion. That's my opinion.
Totally
that's
cool.
That's my opinion.
Totally cool.
Yeah.
It's all good. But you're trying to tell me that Islam doesn't have a terrorist problem?
Muslims have a terrorist problem.
Correct.
It's like when you say Islam has a Muslim problem, when you say Judaism has a Muslim problem. All right? A lot of Muslims are assholes and they're doing horrible stuff. And I do not feel the need to defend those people because those people don't represent me. The thing is,
if Jews were running around all over the world blowing themselves up as suicide bombers, as a Jew, I'd be like, guys, what the fuck are we doing here? What are we doing here?
Okay.
This is accomplishing nothing.
So here's the
reality. Jews aren't doing that, and Christians aren't doing that.
Jews are not.
Let me ask you a question.
They're not doing that in Gaza. They're not doing that in the West Bank.
Everything you talk about is Gaza. I'm talking about the world.
Because that's what's happening right now.
You're so obsessed with this one topic.
I am.
I'm trying to understand the world.
My family lives there.
Okay.
Because my family lives there.
But my family's in Israel.
Really?
So only your family counts. My family doesn't count.
No. Okay, but like, did your family live in an open air prison and being killed every day?
The open air prison, the genocide.
You see how you
get some new talking points. Open air prison. Israel left Gaza in 2006.
It didn't leave. It left and they put it under blockade.
It's called a disengagement. Why do they have a blockade? Maybe because they're shooting missiles hundreds of times a day. Yeah, I'd pretty much put a country in a blockade if they were shooting missiles every single day.
You cut them from the sea, cut them from the water. It's like, okay, go live. How do you do that?
Let's move on from Israel because I know you're hyper obsessed with it. Why?
I'm not hyper obsessed. You keep asking me about Israel.
No, I ask you about the world, and I'm asking you about Christianity and Muslims and Judaism. You want to focus on Israel. Why can Muslims move to any Christian country they want, but Christians and Jews can move to 0 Muslim countries? Why is that?
What about Dubai? What about
I'll ask it again.
Arabia? What about all of these countries? What are you talking about?
You mean the country?
You're just mentioning Qatar and Dubai and all of there's like a lot of expats living there.
So this is my point, and I'm glad you're catching on.
Yeah.
That I'm not racist. I'm pointing out.
Well, there are Christian countries who like shit. I wouldn't lose that because of the economy.
I'm pointing out that in certain Muslim countries, they're getting it right. Or at least
Okay.
attempting to.
Good for them.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yes, good for them. Good for Qatar. Good for UAE. Good for Saudi and what MBS is doing. Good for them. They're examples of what could be done. Gaza, if they took the billions of government of international aid, could be Dubai, but they decided to make a terror state. So the question that I'm asking is,
are you saying that like, there's so many money coming in and just like Hamas used it in order to make weapons?
there's people of Hamas who are literal billionaires living in Qatar, flying around on private jets. How do you explain that?
They're horrible people, and I don't condone them. All right.
Okay.
I'm talking about the millions of people in Gaza who
But you know, horrible people, Hamas. Let's not talk about that. We'll move on. But Israel. Let me give you a dissertation over here.
Like,
I'm trying to give you
you're
some.
just like shouting over me.
I'm
just
not.
to make
Because every time I'm talking,
you are basically
you
going
talk.
around all of the stuff that's happening with Muslim people that is bad, and then basically what you're doing is you are undertoning. You are trying to find an excuse to keep that killing in Gaza continue because Muslims are bad, Muslims are terrorists, Muslims are poor. So let's just like kill those people in Gaza.
You are
this is exactly what
so
you're doing.
intellectually lazy. It's comical because I'm not even talking about Gaza.
You keep insulting me.
We're
You keep
gonna
insulting me
wrap up.
Because I'm trying.
Because she says like you are a motherfucking racist. You know, like how would you
What
feel
have I
if
said that's
that?
racist? I'm saying that
Everything
there's.
that you say about racism, the way that you speak about Muslims, that we are terrorists and we are horrible people. Basically, you're telling people that we deserve to die.
Bassem,
And
you
Israel
said-
has everything to do in order to kill those people. Anyways,
I've said zero of those words.
Hopefully, if
You were putting
hopefully,
all those words
if
in my mouth. I've said
if
zero
my
of
wife's
those
cousin,
words.
who's a doctor, get killed tomorrow, I'm gonna send you a postcard.
So if my actual cousin gets killed in Israel,
They
that's
will
okay.
Not, they will not, because
That's
you know
okay.
what? They are safe because he's not living in an open air
Oh,
prison.
why are they safe? Maybe because they have the Israeli Defense Force, the Iron Dome that
Good for
stops
you. Good for you.
all the missiles.
They don't have that.
Yeah, but
they don't have that.
Maybe you should have built that instead of tunnels.
With what?
With all the billions of foreign aid that was given.
What billion foreign aid are you? These,
How much money does Iran give? How much money does Qatar give? How much does the international community?
Actually trickled through Israel. You understand that Israel is actually holding
Your
that tax
argument
money
holds
from,
no weight because all you're doing is defending Hamas. You have zero argument.
I'm the last one to defend Hamas, by the way, and I've actually said the terrorist group, and I'm a big fan of Hamas. But I'm just giving you some facts. Every single money that goes into Gaza goes through Israel. As a matter of fact, Biden has a big problem with Netanyahu because he's withholding the tax money that paid by the Palestinian people to the Palestinian Authority, and Netanyahu is holding it back. Have you heard about that? Have you read about that? Just 2 days ago, if you're reading your stuff, but you don't. But the thing is, Netanyahu is holding back the tax money from the Palestinian in West Bank, and he's not giving it to
You're
Ahmed
so
Abbas.
funny, man. You're so funny.
No, you're just
saying
so ignorant.
You're saying
You're
all
ignorant.
the money that's going to Hamas is coming through Israel. Sure,
Filtered through Israel.
Sure, all the money
filtered through Israel.
Yeah, all the money from Iran going right through Israel. Sure, that's likely. All the money from
The transfer
Qatar.
by Netanyahu in 2019, the Likud party, telling them that he is actually overlooking the amount of money coming from Qatar, and he is doing that in order to split the Palestinian Authority. Listen to me.
I'm familiar with this. I'm not disagreeing
How
with.
about you? How about you? Listen, educate yourself about that.
I'm not disagreeing that Netanyahu has done some fucked up things.
Here it is.
Okay.
Here it is. Oh my God. Here it is.
Biden is in frustrating call told Bibi to solve Palestinian tax revenue issue.
Because Israel is withholding the taxes. You understand every single money
That's
transaction.
your argument right there?
That's part of the argument. Every single money transaction, whether it's taxes, whether aids, it has to go through the Israeli government.
So all the money that Iran is funding Hamas, you're saying that goes through Israel? Is that what you're saying?
Through Qatar, through Israel.
Okay, that's so false. It's so flagrantly false.
I want you to educate yourself more.
Okay, I will. I'll go read up on this. But if you mean to tell me that Israel is intercepting the money that Iran is sending to Hamas and says, yeah, we'll send it to you guys.
But
believe me, they're not doing
By
it.
the way, it's
Read the
11:15.
transcript
It's 11:15. We're going to wrap up. Here's what I will say. I'm going to be very honest with both of you guys. I mean, I've been listening to both of you guys, and I love this. I love this. Let me tell you why. The average American right now is sitting there. There's a group that agrees with you. There's a group that agrees with you. Regardless of what it is, a lot was said, and it was actually pretty educated discussion for me. I'm normally not this quiet. I love the fact that I heard this conversation. I loved it.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.